So Slate.com had nothing short of a hit piece on Donald Trump. It takes a special kind of stupid to do a hit piece on Donald Trump because he says so many ridiculous things anyway, but they felt like they had to make up arguments against him. Beyond pathetic. So it's titled, Putin's Puppet. If the Russian president could design a candidate to undermine American interests and advance his own, he'd look a lot like Donald Trump. Don't bite off more than you can chew there, buddy, okay? So it starts with this sentence. Vladimir Putin has a plan for destroying the West, and that plan looks a lot like Donald Trump. Hyperbole much? So the entire article, they bring up instances of, one, goofy comments Trump made about Putin and kind of praising him. I agree with those points in the article because, yeah, Trump's a clown and he likes strongmen. He's strong, so now I'm going to compliment him. Okay, that's fine. Then the second thing is his business ventures in Russia. He's been trying to get into Russia to do business. And they're like, tisk, tisk, how dare you? And I don't know about that. Who cares? He's a businessman. He wanted to try to, be involved over there. If anything, there's hypocrisy just on the level that he says we should do protectionism and not let American companies go overseas. We should incentivize them to stay here and punish them if they send jobs overseas. So there's that angle to it, which is a fair point to make, and that's kind of hypocrisy. But that's not really the argument they make. The argument they make is like, he tried to do business with Russia! Russia! So in other words, not like, hey, outsourcing in general is wrong, but, Russia! So they make up claims about Russia influencing the U.S. elections, too, and they even admitted at one point. They're like, there's no direct evidence of this, but maybe Russia's hiring people to spend money over here and try to influence the election, and obviously their candidate of choice is Donald Trump. So then at the end, you get to what it's really about. They say this, quote, if Putin wanted to concoct the ideal candidate to serve his purposes, his laboratory creation would look like Donald Trump. The Republican nominee wants to shatter our military alliances in Europe. He cheers the destruction of the European Union. He favors ratcheting down tensions with Russia over Ukraine and Syria, both as a matter of foreign policy and in service of his own pecuniary interests. Okay, did you catch that last part? They say this as a negative. Quote, he favors ratcheting down tensions with Russia over Ukraine and Syria, both as a matter of foreign policy and in service of his own pecuniary interests. Why the fuck would you think that's a bad thing? What kind of a fucking moronic point is that? He doesn't even want to escalate to World War III with Russia over Syria and Ukraine. Ha! What an idiot. No, that's a reason to like him, if anything. Now, by the way, like I said a million times, I don't trust Donald Trump with an army. I don't trust him with nuclear codes. I think he's a thin-skinned buffoon, and he's an authoritarian, and I think he would probably be quick on the trigger, and he would be quick to invade places and whatnot. But the argument they're making is, no, he is bad because we think he wouldn't be quick to the trigger. He's bad because he wouldn't escalate with Syria and Russia. So by inference, what point are you making about Hillary Clinton? She would escalate with Russia over Syria. And by the way, this isn't, speculation. She says it. She's made that argument. She said, I want to put a no-fly zone in Syria, and if Russia violates it, okay, we got to do what we got to do. I guess we got to go to war with Russia. Really? This is what you want to do? A no-fly zone in Syria, by the way, to protect the rebels. Who are the rebels? We just covered the story on it the other day. They're torturing people, they're murdering people, they banned music, they're Islamists and jihadists. But we're so against Syria, Iran, and Russia that, whatever, strange bedfellows, we'll be on the side of the Islamists and jihadists. And if Vladimir Putin flies in the territory to bomb Islamists and jihadists, World War III, why not? This is why you think Hillary Clinton is an appealing candidate, that she's more hawkish. She might get us more involved in Ukraine and Syria and get us into a bigger fight with Russia and escalate more. See, this is what I mean, guys. These idiots think they're hurting Trump. You're only making him stronger because you're picking the better things about him and attacking those things. Trump recently said, effectively, hey, Saddam Hussein, he's a terrible guy, he's a bad guy, but he's preferable to what happened after ISIS. Now everybody on the left is going, oh, you praise Saddam Hussein. No, he made a point that you guys have made a million times, a point that I've made a million times. The war in Iraq was a horrible, terrible war crime. And we toppled a guy who's a horrible person, but we had no business to topple him, and he stabilized the region in the sense that ISIS wouldn't exist in its current form if he wasn't toppled. But now when Trump says it, he loves Saddam Hussein! when he says, hey, maybe we shouldn't be as involved in Syria and maybe let Russia fight ISIS. Whoa! You want America to reduce its standing around the world. You all sound like a bunch of idiots. Use logical arguments against him, like when he says, hey, killing civilians is awesome. Hey, we need to torture people. Hey, fuck the Geneva Conventions. When he makes those arguments, hey, ban all Muslims from entering the U.S., you can argue against these things because those things that he says are stupid. When he says, let's lower wages, argue against that because that's stupid. When he says, let's not escalate with Russia, that's smart, but nonetheless, you write articles calling him Putin's puppet, when if anything, Hillary is more of Putin's puppet. Why? You're escalating to a standoff with him in a potential war. So that might be what he wants. I mean, it would be nice to not have war and not have World War III. That's not being a puppet. That's the opposite of being a puppet. That's being rational and looking out for the American people.